A very good morning, dear children. Yesterday we started with chapter 7, Introduction to Microbiology. Today we will be completing with the second part of the chapter. As I told you yesterday, the entire chapter has been divided into two, product generation and garbage management. From that we finished off with product generation. Today we will be doing garbage management. Garbage management. Why is this so important? We know that solid waste, sewage and various pollutants are increasing along with the increasing pollution. And this is increasing diseases and it's also degrading the environment. Especially cities in densely populated countries like India are affected because of these problems. If in case these problems are not solved at the right time, the life of the future generation will be difficult. That is why we are learning garbage management. In garbage management, there are two types. One is solid waste management, in which we will be learning landfilling sites, and liquid waste management, in which we will be learning sewage management. So we will start with solid waste. In the 9th standard we learnt about biodegradable waste, non-biodegradable waste and how it is managed. For landfilling sites we normally use the degradable waste. The degradable waste which has been accumulated in the urban areas is used for this purpose. In landfilling site pits are dug in open spaces. And these spaces are away from the residential areas. The pit is going to be lined with plastic sheet. Why is this done? Is to avoid percolation of harmful and toxic materials which are made during the decomposition. If in case the harmful toxic chemicals that they get percolated or they move down through the soil, they may get mixed with the groundwater and it may cause infection of the groundwater. So to avoid that, these pits are lined with plastic sheets. And then after it has been lined with plastic sheet, the compressed waste is added into this. The waste is compressed means that pressure is applied on the waste so that more and more amount of waste can be accommodated in the pit. After the compressed waste is dumped in the pit, it is covered with layers of soil. This is very important because there are microorganisms present in the soil which is going to help with decomposition of the waste which is added in the pit. And then this layer is again covered with layer of sawdust and layer of leafy waste. Layer of sawdust and leafy waste does not only develop anaerobic condition, but it also proves to be a source of methane because they have high carbon content. And then this pit is sealed with a layer of soil slurry. The soil slurry does not only bring about anaerobic condition, but it prevents the foul odor which is going to be made during the decomposition from moving out and also prevents the attraction of flies. After a few days, the best quality compost is going to be formed from this pit. Compost is nothing but soil which has very high nutritive value. It is going to have high amount of nutrients in it. Therefore, the soil can be used in agricultural land where the plants can grow by absorbing the nutrients from the compost. Such landfilling sites can also be reused again and again after removal of the compost. Coming to sewage management. Sewage is nothing but wastewater. We know that in villages, the domestic sewage is disposed either in the soil or in the biogas plant. However, in the cities, this kind of treatment cannot be done in the cities. That is why sewage needs to be carried to processing units and it is acted upon by microbial processes. Let's have a look at that. The water which is released from industries and apartments, they pass through huge pipes into specific tanks. As they are passing through the pipe, they are being strained. Strained means that all the huge waste in it, which may include plastic, it can be in the form of bottles or plastic sheets, or it can be plastic covers or cloth or anything which is very huge to be digested in the sewage, those kind of solid materials are removed out or they are strained out, and only the liquid waste or only the waste water is passed into the primary sedimentation tank. Primary sedimentation tank is where the water is kept undisturbed for specific period of time so that the heavy materials may settle down or they may sediment down due to gravity. This sedimentation allows heavy materials to settle at the bottom, which can be removed out later. The water which is at the uppermost part of the sedimentation tank passes into the aeration tank. As the word is telling you, aeration means it is going to contain a continuous source of oxygen. The microorganisms are added in this particular tank. What happens is the microorganisms use the oxygen and help in decomposing the organic matter that is present in this particular tank. Microbes which decompose the compound as well as destroy pathogens of cholera, typhoid that is mixed with the water. They release methane and carbon dioxide by decomposition of the carbon compound that is present in the sewage. After this step, again the water is added into another tank for secondary treatment. Secondary treatment means that here again the water is kept undisturbed, wherein the hard materials or the compounds which are heavy or the organic compounds which are newly formed can sediment at the bottom or can settle at the bottom, forming sludge. This sludge that is settled down in this process can be again reused as fertilizers. The water which is present at the uppermost part of the tank is then moved to the final tank where chlorination takes place. That is, with the help of chlorine, we remove or kill the pathogens or we kill the microorganisms that were used in the aeration tank. After chlorination, the water which is released out is environmentally safe and it can be used for washing, cleaning, or it can also be used in industries. You must have heard quite often about oil spills. Spilling of petroleum oil occurs in ocean due to various reasons. This oil proves to be fatal and toxic to aquatic organisms, and it is not easy to remove the oil layer from surface by mechanical method. That is why bacteria like Pseudomonas and Alkanovorax borcumensis, they are used because they have the ability to destroy pyridines and other chemicals. The bacteria has the capability to clear the oil spills. They are therefore called as carbonoclastic bacteria or HCB because they decompose the hydrocarbons and bring about the reaction of carbon with oxygen, thereby releasing carbon dioxide. Plastic bottles are formed from chemical substances PET, that is polyethylene terephthalate. Nowadays we know that most of the urban garbage consists of plastic, and for its decomposition we use Vibrio and Ideonella saccharensis kind of species where they have the capability of decomposing polyethylene terephthalate. We also know that nowadays the urban garbage also consists of rubber. Rubber-like matter can be decomposed with the help of certain fungus that includes actinomycetes, streptomycetes, nocardia and actinoplanes. Sulfuric acid is present in acid rain and materials that come out of the mine. This does not only cause soil pollution but also brings about erosion of metals that are present in statues, bridges, buildings, etc. For this, acidophilium or Acidobacillus ferroxidin kind of bacteria are used, which use sulfuric acid as a source of energy, and they avoid or control the soil pollution caused because of acid rain. Uranium kind of salts are released into the environment during the effluent that is released from atomic energy plant, and Geobacter kind of bacteria help in converting the salts of uranium into insoluble salts, thereby preventing the salts from mixing with groundwater resources. Soil pollution occurring due to chemical fertilizer is prevented with the help of microbial inoculants. We know that soil pollution is occurring because of the frequent use of chemical fertilizers. Fluoroacetamide like chemicals, they are mixed with the soil because of the use of chemical pesticides. This does not only prove to be harmful to plants and animals, but it also causes skin diseases in humans. And this can be avoided by using microbial inoculant, which is nothing but microbe containing solution. This microbial inoculant is sprayed on the seeds before sowing, and some of the inoculant is also released into the plant. These microbes in the inoculant help in the plant growth by supplying nutrients. We have learnt about bacterial and fungal toxins which destroy pests, and we have learnt about processes where they can be integrated into the plant. We have learnt about Bt cotton and Bt brinjal, which are examples of these processes. Because they are being toxic to insects, they do not consume the plant, and that is why these processes appear to be the most efficient ways of protecting the pests. Similar to bacteria, species of fungus and viruses can also be used as pesticides. Spinosad is a product which is derived from the fermentation of actinomycet Saccharopolyspora spinosa. This is one solution which was earlier used to destroy the pest. However, it has been banned because it proved to be carcinogenic. I hope this chapter is clear to all. Thank you.